Hello, everyone. I want to say thank you for coming out to Hip Hop Entrepreneurship program and UNLV for the Early Learning Institute presentation. My name is Robert Strawder, aka the Vegas Don, and I'll let you know how I came about creating my own hip hop curriculum that's CCSD accredited, and I'll tell you how I came about creating this curriculum and why it's so important. Who do you think I am? That's the question of the day. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to ask you that same question, so don't answer the question, but just think about that. And what are your assumptions just by looking at me? Let me go over here. Just by looking at me, what's your assumptions? Like I said, I'm Robert Strawder, aka the Vegas Don. These are some pictures of me being small, just some pictures. So I grew up in Vegas, but my mom had me at 16 years old. And when she had me about 2, 3, 4, we were in the middle support system. And my mom met a smooth talking Vegas dude that told her, to come to Vegas and promised her the bells and whistles. We move out here. We go to his house. He stays with his mother with 15 people in a 3-bedroom. We sleep on the floor. So I went from doing good to this. And he didn't tell my mother after she married him that he had an issue, and it was drugs. He did pills, smoked weed, did cocaine, but his favorite drug of choice was heroin. So, we moved around in Vegas several times, and we finally land in North Las Vegas on Donna Street. When we land on Donna Street, you guys, if you don't know does anyone know what's Donna Street out here? Well, I grew up, 15 to 18 years. My stepdad, who's now my mom's husband, he fights her, beats on her all the time, and I was in shock and trauma. So I go to school, and all I do is sign my name on the paper and come home. At the end of the school year, teacher asked my mom to come to school. She come to school. Your son flunked the first grade. What? My son's smart. He's real smart. He didn't flunk the first grade. Slapped the papers down, and then all I did was sign my name on the papers, and she flunked me. And my mom said, wow. She said, well, you know what? Your brother is coming up. He's going to be in the first grade, and now both of you guys will be in the first grade. If you flunk again, I'm going to school. So I started going to school, and this problem with my stepfather and my mom's and all this stuff at home keep going and going and going. Now I'm in the 3rd or 4th grade. I'm going to school. I'm fighting. I'm getting in trouble. I'm being a bully. I'm disrespecting teachers. I'm doing all these things, and I'm at home. My mom's getting beat. She gets in a fight in the 3rd grade or 4th grade. I remember I get a skateboard. Hip pops in the back. He punched me in the chest. And, just drama. And then moms go upstairs, put on her makeup, and I'm like, Mom, when I get older, I'm going to kill a person that try to do this. And she's like, no, I don't want you to do that. You go to jail. So, that problem was all the time. And then when I do that, she go to work, he lock me in the closet, just do different things to trying to discipline me. And then I go to school the next day. We got tests. Teacher like, why you don't have a pencil? Where your paper? This to that. I'm like, I've been up all night with moms arguing, and then this lady messing with me, and then I trip out. That's why I want you guys to understand what we go through, so maybe it'll open your mind to understand it. And so, remember one day my mom, in the car, she stabs my stepdad. She said, I'm tired of him beating me. She stabbed him. She run in the house. She come in the house and she blood everywhere, and I'm like, Mama, what's up? She like, he coming after me. I had to stab him. I got tired of him fighting me. And we put her in our closet. He come in there, where's she at? And I'm like, she gone, she was outside. So he go outside, look for her, and then he disappeared. We never saw him again. And he ended up dying from heroin needles he caught AIDS. So it was a good thing and a bad thing. It was a blessing and a curse, because it let my mom, she was there by herself now with us. And then the crack epidemic happened. Do you guys know about the crack epidemic? Anyone? Anybody raise their hands? Well, if you Google it, I don't have time to get into it, but if you Google it, you'll see they put drugs in the community, and it was the government, and it affected African Americans and Latinos. So it affected my family the most. Before this happened, we were all together family. After this happened, it was crazy like it is now. We still having the effects, suffering the effects from that. But you know, my mom left, she wasn't around, she got on drugs, she was embarrassed, so she disappeared. She was a great mother. She taught me how important education was. I went to church all the time. She taught me ethics and respect, but she disappeared. So I'm 16 years old, and we're hungry, and we don't know what to do. My brother's 15, and my 3 sisters, 13, 11, and 5. And we're on Donna Street, and it's like either we turn ourselves into social services, or I'm gonna start hustling. And we said, well, we love each other. If 5 of us and we getting separated, we go to the system. So I started hustling, and I said we take a family oath that we don't tell our family because they're not there, that we don't tell our friends because y'all know friends gossip, and that we don't tell our teachers and administration because you tell them, then they get you. So, I remember hustling. I ended up taking care of the family. No more eating mayonnaise sandwiches, mayonnaise with taco shells, just being hungry, the power off, taking cold showers. No more none of that. I started hustling, got the power on, bought our school clothes, did all of this all the way through high school. My basketball coach now never knew. I was the MVP of my basketball team every year. The things I'm telling you now, the teachers or nobody never knew because I kept it secret. So, I ended up going to college having a scholarship, and I was like, sisters, I don't want to, leave y'all on Donna. Y'all might get raped, to this, to that, because if I'm not here, she was like, no. My sister's like, you want to play for the Lakers and move us out to the projects. And I said, you're right. So I go to college. And every time I go to college, I'll come back on the weekend and hustle. So I missed my first period in college, and it messed me up. My coach would be mad at me. And I'm like, yeah, but he didn't know, what I'm telling you guys. So I missed the first period, I get in trouble, and then I drop out. So when I drop out of college, I specifically remember it was Porterville, California, right here. That's me. That's about 100 pounds lighter. But, but that's me. And I'm coming back, I'm driving, I'm crying, I'm in my lowrider, because I'm doing what I do. I'm in my lowrider, driving all the way back. I'm crying, I'm like, I'm gonna become a kingpin then and move us out to projects. And that's what I did. I came back to Vegas, started selling, making all this money. I was 19 years old, bought my first piece of property, put $30,000 down, moved my mom them out the projects, because if I move her out, she might stop doing drugs. It didn't happen, so long story short, she ended up turning herself into rehab about 2 or 3 years later. And I got money, and when you up at high, everybody don't like you, and boom. My basketball friend, I didn't know his dad was an NLVPD officer. He got cracked, and I used to be giving him the drugs, and he was just calling me, whatever. And right here on that picture, that's me with this brick cell phones. Y'all remember the big bricks? They was $1 a minute back then. And my phone bill was $1,000 a month. It was Roman was crazy. 4 of us had 4 of them. It was $4,000 a month. We didn't care, but it was crazy. So my guy, he telling me what he need, and my mom, she was in rehab, and she was like, baby, I had a dream that you getting busted. Don't sell no more drugs. And then my grandma had the same dream, and they never talked to each other for about a year or 2. So I was spooked. I said, I'm not touching anything. I go to a store, old boy come, my boy, they doing the transaction, they do whatever. I go out there, what's going on? Next thing you know, he was like, he just threw the money in here and ran off. Man, what's wrong with him? Whatever, I'm finna go clubbing. See you later, man. And SWAT come. It was the Nasty Boys. If you familiar with Vegas, the Nasty Boys is bad boy, what you want to do? If you Google it, they started here back in, I don't want to say my age, but like the 90s. So it was like that, and they busted me, and then I'm like, after what I told you on my grandma and ma just did, I'm like, why they arrested me? I don't have nothing. And then they say, yeah, we lifted you up off the ground, and 2 ounces of dope fell out your pocket. What? I didn't have nothing, you know, so I ended up taking a lie detector test, and I had John Monmouth. All of the money that I made, I lost in a day. I was broke, and, you know, and I ended up beating the case because I took the lie detector test, but I didn't learn my lesson. I go back to California, give me some drugs. This time I didn't make it back. So I was on the run for 18 years. I turned myself in 2016, beat my case in 2017, and, you know, and then I vowed, you know, that I would make a change. This is me, you know, being one of the first rappers on Donna to film a video and things like that. So, you know, me being on the run, doing everything, my aunt, who's my spiritual advisor, she was like, you on the run, you doing all of this, you got to turn yourself in. So I turned myself in and, you know, beat the case in 2018. And when I beat the case, you know, I'm a hip hop artist, I'm a Digital Underground. Who knows who Digital Underground is in here? Who knows who Tupac is? Okay, who discovered Tupac, discovered me, Shock G. So, you know, when I did that, you know, the hip hop and music, the Libertarian Party was following me, and they said, man, you're doing all these things, you're working with the kids, you're mentoring, you're doing all these things, you need to become a politician. I'm like, man, I sold drugs, I was a gang member, you know. They said, at least you're telling us up front. And I said, okay, you know. So, you know, I read Obama articles about what he did with the communities, and I started working with communities. I ran in 2018 for congressional district against Dina Titus, 2020 against Dina Titus. I did great, and doing all these events, and I gave back, and, you know, then I received my degree at CSN College with General Studies and Mental Behavior Service, because I always wanted to know why we act that way. So, you know, I wanted to see what was going on with the mental health stuff. That's the Ambassador of Peace Award from the Universal Peace Foundation I had received in 2018, and so that was pretty cool. So the plight of me creating hip-hop entrepreneurship, this is what created hip-hop entrepreneurship is my life, because I always used to say, these teachers prejudice, they don't even, you know, and me, you guys need to know, oops, you guys need to know that I'm a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade middle school teacher at Grand Sawyer. So I'm the only black teacher that 6th, 7th, and 8th graders have ever seen. So take that in, you know. So I feel for students because they all come in my class, white students, Asian students, and they just hang out with me. And they be like, man, Mr. Strawder, we Googled you. You the Vegas Don. Say a rap for us, you know. And hip hop is the #1 communicator in the world, and it's the #1 communicator in America. And our kids now aren't like what we were. We didn't get raised on it. These kids now, hip hop, look at the way we dress, the way we talk, our lingo, our swag. That's what it don't matter what color, that's what they do. So I started mentoring at the CCSD for like 3 years. And then I fell in at Desert Rose High School. That's the last step before you get kicked out of the school district. And the principal fell in love with me with the students, because the students is disrespecting everybody, smoking weed, tripping out on hall monitors, and then I'd be like, send them to me and let me talk to them. And then they send them to me and I tell them my story, they tell me what they're going through. I said, at least you got a mama. You got a mama. I didn't have nobody with me. So I want to hear it, you know, and just give them the real conversation and engage with them. And the principal was like, at the end of the year, I said, I have an idea. I'm going to write up a curriculum. And why don't you give me a class, buy equipment, this or that. She was like, okay. And so she did it. She got a grant and she did it. And we put the studio there. And then that year, we started the program, Hip Hop Entrepreneurship, in 2017, 2018. When we started the program, with the kids come in there, I take their progress reports, we do music, I record them. But the deans and the hall monitors come in there disrupting class. At the time, I had a mentoring license. So I had to have administration or a teacher in there with me. And so they come and mess up everything and people be arguing and I can't do nothing. So that's why I became a teacher. It wasn't because I wanted to be a teacher. It was just, I don't want them telling me what to do. You know what I'm saying? So a counselor and the director was like, you know what, you graduated so you can be a sub teacher. I said, I can. Sure enough, I filled out the paper bound and there I was. So I realized the counter narrative, like I said, I'm an 8th grade teacher, the only black one, and you know, the similarities, that's me. I have a YAP, youth advocacy program. They're the #1 advocacy programs. Those are all felons and on probation kids, and that's at South Academy, me doing things at South Academy with kids. And if the picture was closer, you could see his house arrest band on the guy with the white shirt. He has a big house arrest band on his ankle. So how I created the curriculum, it's a social-emotional learning, social science, and humanities program. And I created it because I knew to get engaged with the students, we had to use different education methods, because the regular methods of teaching are old now. And these kids are raised up on iPhones, and you know, they know more than us, well, me, on all of the electrical things. So the hip hop curriculum was created for kids that grew up like me, that didn't have a strong support system sometime, and wasn't engaging with education, had behavioral issues and things like that, the things that are really prominent in the schools of today, in high schools, middle schools. And that's why I created this curriculum. And we do life skills, we do mathematics with counting bars. If you don't know what bars is, I'll have like students in the room, and then I'll say, okay, let's write 4 bars today about the eyes, what do you see the world as a youth today? Because I'm not a youth, but can you write in 4 bars and explain to me what you see the world as today in 4 bars? And if you don't know what 4 bars is, that's like the cat in the hat went like that, and then he came back, that. That's like, you know, and so they write that down, they talk to me, we put it down, so we give them literacy. And then we do restorative practices circles where we get to engage with the students, we get to talk to them and get their name, get their upbringing and things like that, you know. So one of the narratives that I have is I had a black student at Desert Rose. His father was in jail, his mom went to jail, his brothers were incarcerated. Everyone was incarcerated, no one graduated. And I said, man, you with me now, you like me. I was the first to graduate from my family. You know, I was the first to graduate college. I said, you can do the same thing. He was like, what? I said, yeah. I said, you can't be like them. You have to break that systemic oppression and you have to go to the next level. And then so he graduated. I went to his graduation. His grandma was hugging me and saying how much she appreciated me because he was getting ready to drop out of school until I started talking to him and explaining to him how important to him to overcome and be educated to be successful, you know, in America. So now he does beats for my hip hop entrepreneurship program. I taught him how to create his own publishing company, and now he has his own publishing company and he does his own music and things like that, and he helps me with the work that I do in the community. The second narrative is a black 8-year-old. The Metro officer met a parent and brought him to me, and I was like, okay, just a little guy. And I was like, yeah, what's up, man? What's going on with you? What's your grades? Like, I got all Fs. I was like, dang, you got all Fs? He was like, yeah, I got all Fs. I said, man, look, you too smart. You look at all these people. Can you tell them why you here? I'm here for robbing somebody. I'm here for stealing a car. I'm here and dropped out of school for this. And, you know, and then the peers teach him and they talk to him, and now he had 3 Fs now. I know you're saying 3 Fs, but it's like eating an elephant. So, you know, you can't do that too quick. So we're back to the self-reflection question earlier. Who do you think, what do you see when you see me? You know, who do you think that I was? Did I meet your expectations? Are you surprised? Can I have anyone raise their hands? Okay. And then oh, get this. I'm dropping the mic. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I really like the fact that you're breaking like the typical mold of what a teacher should like be and how they should teach. And it was really interesting to find out all the different ways and like how you're incorporating hip hop on where most of your students thrive with. I would not be able to do that. I can't rap.
You might. Who you like anybody in the rap? Who do you like to rap? Anyone?
I mean, yes, my musical
Kanye?
taster.
Who?
Not Kanye. I'm more of like, okay, this is putting me on the spot. I don't even know.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Who did you think that I was when I was sitting there? What did you think?
I thought that you were strong, that you were confident, and with what you were talking about and discussing throughout, like your history and your childhood, I was in shock of, just all that you had went through and overcome, and how something that was so, horrible or terrifying, how it can turn into something amazing, and how you're just, doing great things and reaching back to, those that faced and went through what you went through to make a difference. And that's what I feel like we are all here as educators, is to step in those areas that we faced and went through to make differences in the lives of our students and their families. So that's awesome. It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? I want to ask her. Yeah, I want to ask you, because I just want to see, like, what did you think when you saw this guy up here?
I honestly didn't have a first impression. I knew you were here to discuss something, and I agree. I am in shock and awe, and I know that there is a lot to learn from you. I'm in third grade this year, and I have two boys that come from very hard home lives, and one of them is proud of their bad grades, and I'm going to be a basketball player, and I don't need school, and I'm struggling with trying to get on his level, earn his respect, earn his trust, and so he decided he wanted to make a secret handshake with me.
Okay.
So that's our thing. It's
That's
a start.
awesome. That's
right?
a great start.
I feel like I was like, okay, but what do you want to do? You have to teach me, and so but just listening to your story and realizing that some kids, I mean, look what you went through, and did all of your teachers know that? And just the importance of really telling them that, no, you deserve the education, and you are smart enough, and even if you have no support from home, look where you came from and look where you are today. It's very motivating and inspiring.
Oh, that's good. What you tell him is you let him know LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, they all had good grades because they wanted to go to college, and they knew if they had to go to the next level, what they had to do. So you need to, if you want to play basketball and be like Steph Curry, he went to a Harvard type school and he was very educated, so you better get your grades right. So you tell him that, so yeah. And, oh, wait a minute, I wanted to ask, how do you build rapport with students? This is the last question because it's pretty much almost over. Did I teach anyone? Did you understand how to build more rapport with students now, or do you have a different view of what's going on?
I again, like I said, I feel like my humble beginnings kind of make me relatable to the students that I teach.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I build a genuine and authentic rapport with them just from that alone. Sadly, most of the things you said were not shocking to me, and I'm white. It's not like you got to be black to go through the struggle.
That's
you know
real.
What I'm saying? So,
yeah, that's real.
My difference, my upbringing was a little different than most, maybe just like yours.
So that's why you're able to relate.
I mean, I went to that high school that you mentioned. I was part of that. I'm a high school dropout, so.
Oh.
Like I have my own struggles.
You went through it.
Teaching third grade. So.
That's awesome for you to come from Desert Rose to where you at. That's a tremendous story to also.
Yeah, I'm from Vegas too, and I know Don Street very well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for having me out. These are are my outlets, emails, numbers, if you need any information, any help with any students that are giving you problems. I'm not, everything may not work, but I can give you some pointers to steer you in the right direction to help, with education and dealing with students of color. All right, thank you guys.
We now will circle back to 208 for Dr. James Dobles. It's also going to be a great talk. Thank you.